Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. Today, we're diving headfirst into the lightning-fast world of X, bringing you a quick, punchy roundup of the day's trending posts. We've got a jam-packed session. We're covering everything from, groundbreaking tech announcements and significant market moves to shifts in social dynamics and political developments. Get ready for a brisk journey through what's got everyone buzzing.
Indeed. Our mission is to quickly distill the most important nuggets of knowledge from these posts, helping you cut through the noise. We've selected these to offer valuable insights and spark, constructive dialogue, all without lingering, keeping that sharp, casual pace going.
Okay, let's unpack this first one. A bold move in the crypto world reads, Strategy has acquired 1,955 BTC for $217.4 million at $111,196 per Bitcoin and has achieved BTC yield of 25.8% YTD 2025. As of 9/7/2025, we had all the $638,466 at $73,880 per Bitcoin. MSTR Cistida STRF CCRD. That's from @Saylor, Michael Saylor himself. Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Well, what's fascinating here is MicroStrategy's continued aggressive strategy, really treating Bitcoin as a treasury asset. They've just added 1,955 BTC, brings their total to over 638,000. Wow. Valued at $47.17 billion. And despite that reported 25.8% yield this year, this bold approach, it comes with risks, especially with some data, like from TradingView, suggesting maybe a potential price correction down to around $88,000. That challenges their current high acquisition cost. Definitely.
A high-stakes game of hodling indeed. Okay, what's next? Shifting gears now to a cultural trend. This one's reported by Bloomberg, reads, Alcohol consumption has gone into possibly permanent decline per Bloomberg. That's at Unusual Whales, bringing us this intriguing social observation. So what does this all mean? Possibly permanent decline? That's strong.
It raises a really important question about changing lifestyles, doesn't it? Gallup data from 2025 shows only 54% of U.S. adults drink.
Lowest since 1939.
Lowest since 1939, yeah. And it's not about substance. Substitution, cannabis use is pretty stable. Instead, it seems driven by growing health awareness, particularly among younger Americans, under 35.
Okay.
66% see even moderate drinking as harmful. And the COVID-19 pandemic seems to have accelerated this shift away from that traditional booze culture.
A significant pivot in public health and social norms, without a doubt. All right, next up. We're diving into the political arena. Hot topic from Washington reads, Burking. President Trump posts in support of Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, RFL, vowing to circumvent House leadership in bringing a congressional stock trading ban to a floor vote. Nancy Pelosi is freaking out. This breaking news comes from @EricLDaw. A rare alignment bypassing leadership, you say. What's the play here?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, President Trump's endorsement of Rep. Luna's effort, it's significant as a direct challenge to traditional party leadership, especially those like Nancy Pelosi who've, historically resisted such measures. And the polling. 95% of Americans support such a ban. It highlights these long-standing concerns about potential insider trading.
Yeah, public trust issues.
Exactly. This move reflects increasing scrutiny on congressional ethics, despite the challenges it'll face in the Senate, of course.
Public demand meeting legislative strategy, an interesting power play. Okay, from politics to finance and tech. This next one is a big deal for the future of markets, I think. Reads, Justy N. Etchris Nasdaq files with the SEC to allow tokenization and blockchain listing of stocks. In? That's at Watcher Guru, delivering critical financial news. This sounds like a game changer.
It really is. What's fascinating here is the institutional embrace of blockchain. Nasdaq's SEC filing to tokenize stocks. It leverages decentralized Oracle networks like Chainlink. They recently partnered with Intercontinental Exchange, the NYSE owner, for secure data.
Ah, okay.
This move is crucial for that projected $30.1 trillion tokenized asset market. It really highlights Chainlink's interoperability with traditional finance. It's a key development in bridging those old and new financial systems.
The financial world continues its rapid evolution into the digital age.
Definitely. Time to look skyward now, and then at its impact on the ground with this development from SpaceX. Reads, SpaceX now owns Spectrum instead of leasing it from carriers. T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon shares all dropped about 4% in pre-market. Allow, it's over.
A bold declaration from @NS123ABC. What does SpaceX owning Spectrum actually mean for the big telecom players? Is it over?
Well, over might be strong, but it raises an important question about market disruption, for sure. SpaceX's $17 billion acquisition of EchoStar's 2 GHz spectrum licenses for direct-to-cell 5G, that's a massive play.
Huge.
It resolves an SEC probe into underutilized spectrum, first off, and it directly challenges the telecom oligopoly by reducing reliance on leased spectrum. That immediate 3-5% drop in T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon stocks in pre-market, reported by Reuters.
Yeah.
That clearly signals the market's perception. This is a potential shift in global connectivity, especially with SpaceX's low Earth orbit satellites promising, 20 meters latency?
Elon Musk continues to reshape industries. You have to wonder what's next. Okay, next post. Now, a thought-provoking one that speaks to fundamental societal values reads, "Having children was the most important thing for men. It was least important to women. Tells you everything you need to know." That's at Matt Walsh blog with a pretty stark observation. What's the context here? What's behind this apparent divide?
Well, what's fascinating here is the divergence highlighted by an NBC News poll. Gen Z men who voted for Trump rank having children as their top success factor at 34%,
Okay.
while women who voted for Harris rank it last, at 6%.
Wow, that's a gap.
It reflects a potential shift in societal values, maybe tied to political affiliation. And it's supported by data from the U.S. Census Bureau, showing a 12% decline in birth rates for women aged 18-29 since 2010. Some research suggests factors like hormonal birth control might also influence women's partner preferences and social priorities, maybe amplifying this gender political divide.
A compelling snapshot of evolving priorities across demographics. Interesting stuff. Back to politics now, with a significant cultural initiative being floated. Reads, "President Trump will call on the nation to pray ahead of our 250th birthday, rededicating America as one nation under God. Amen, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear."
From @CharlieKirk11, talking about an initiative to launch America Prays. Tell us more. What's the background?
This raises an important question, really, about the role of religion in public life today. President Trump's call to rededicate America as one nation under God for the 250th anniversary in 2026. It ties into a historical push for religious expression. Think about his Department of Education guidance protecting student prayer rights, for instance.
Right.
Historically, early America saw diverse Christian denominations, but the Pew Research Center notes a decline in Christian identification, from 90% in 1972 down to 64% in 2020.
Big drop. Yeah. So that could be fueling this call for a revival. But critics, though, they argue such moves can echo efforts to reinterpret history, especially when partnered with conservative institutions that, promote particular narratives.
A complex blend of faith, history, and modern politics. Okay. Another major legal development, this one impacts executive power, reads, "Breaking. The Supreme Court is allowing Trump to proceed with firing corrupt members of the FTC." This is huge E. That's a Gunther Eagleman with some strong words. This is huge E. What's the significance of this Supreme Court ruling?
Okay, if we connect this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court's decision allowing Trump to fire FTC Commissioner Rebecca Kelly Slaughter. It's monumental, a real shift.
Oh.
It overturns a 1935 precedent, Humphrey's Executive of the United States. That case protected independent agency heads from arbitrary dismissal.
Right, the independence aspect.
Exactly. This ruling, backed by that 6-3 conservative majority, signals a broader legal challenge to the independence of these regulatory agencies. Supporters might argue it aligns with constitutional intent, but critics cite potential risks. Risks to vital functions like FTC antitrust enforcement and consumer protections.
A significant expansion of executive power with wide-ranging implications, certainly. Next up, a social commentary post referencing a major news outlet reads, "The New York Times is very concerned about a migrant population changing the culture of their new country." From @Robert M. Sterling, highlighting an interesting focus from the New York Times. What's the scoop here? Is this accurate?
Well, what's fascinating here is the narrative versus the actual data. The Post references a New York Times article claiming 24,000 U.S. expatriates are reshaping Mexico City's food scene.
Okay.
But 24,000 people, that's just 0.1% of Mexico City's population. Demographic studies suggest cultural shifts typically need at least 5–10% population impact for noticeable change.
Perspective.
Right. And Mexico City's cuisine has a long history of evolving through foreign influences. So focusing on this small American expat group might be, amplifying a minor trend for sensationalism rather than reflecting a broad cultural shift. Data indicates they represent less than 7% of all foreigners in the city anyway.
A reminder to always look beyond the headline for the full picture. Good point. Staying on the topic of media, this next post has a strong opinion on news coverage. Very strong. Reads, "You don't hate the media enough." A provocative statement from @EndWokeness. What's behind this sentiment?
This raises an important question about media selective reporting, doesn't it? The Post is linked to a deadly stabbing in Charlotte. Now, while FBI data shows a 5.7% drop in violent crime nationally in 2024, media amplification often skews public perception of these rare violent events.
Makes them seem more common.
Exactly. This post criticizes what it perceives as media silence or selective bias, contrasting it with outlets like Axios that did cover the incident. A Reuters Institute study noted U.S. news outlets often prioritize politically charged stories, which could explain perceived undercoverage by some major outlets.
A stark reminder of the debates around news framing and perceived bias.
Definitely. Okay, let's turn to the music industry. A new feature for artists reads, upload your work directly to Tidal. Get paid directly via Cash App. That's @Jack, highlighting a potentially revolutionary change. How significant is this?
What's fascinating here is this continued decentralization of music distribution. Jack Dorsey's post about Tidal allowing artists to directly upload and get paid via Cash App, that's a big step.
Yep.
It basically circumvents traditional intermediaries, labels, publishers. Artists get more control, direct financial benefits. It aligns with these broader industry trends towards democratizing access, supporting independent creators, and changing how music is monetized. Direct access and direct payment sounds like a powerful combination for artists. All right, back to space quickly. An update on a planned launch reads, due to unfavorable weather conditions at the launch site, now targeting Tuesday, September 9 for launch of the new Centaur Lima mission from Florida. Straight from @SpaceX. Sounds like weather is playing its usual role in spaceflight.
Indeed. And it highlights the inherent challenges, doesn't it? Even for a company as experienced as SpaceX, with over 300 successful orbital launches since 2010.
Right.
Public interest is high for Starship's next flight, maybe late September, early October. But weather delays like this one for New Centaur Lima, they're common, especially with Florida facing marginal flood risks sometimes. Safety and mission success require these adjustments.
Proof that even cutting-edge tech is still subject to the elements. All right, next one. Here's one that uses satire to make a point about crime reporting. Reads, Democrat mayors report violent crime down 40% since they redefined violent and crime. That's at the Babylon Bee, the masters of fake news you can trust. What's the humor targeting here? What's the critique?
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how satire is used to critique statistical reporting.
Right.
This post plays on the idea of manipulating metrics. It kind of echoes historical precedents, like the Obama administration adjusting unemployment metrics back in 2010.
I remember that.
While FBI data for 2024 does show a national decline in violent crime, the satire highlights public skepticism. Skepticism about how local stats are gathered and presented, and whether, definitional changes, like excluding certain incidents, could influence the reported figures.
A sharp, humorous take on the public's perception of numbers and how they're used. Okay. And finally for today, a significant legal allegation making waves. Reads, Letitia James is cooked. She's been exposed again for mortgage fraud with Citizens Bank in 2021 after allegedly misrepresenting her 5-unit Brooklyn building as a single-family home to secure a $200K credit line. This allowed her to avoid higher commercial loan costs and cook it. From @BennyJohnson, cooked is a strong word. What's the background here?
Well, this certainly raises an important question about public accountability. New York AG Letitia James is facing allegations from 2021 that she misrepresented her 5-unit Brooklyn property as a single-family home to get a $200,000 credit line from Citizens Bank.
Which could be fraud.
Could be mortgage fraud, a felony in New York, potentially. And a 2025 Reuters report confirms an FBI investigation into similar claims, suggesting, a pattern of scrutiny, perhaps. Evidence from mortgage documents seems to support the financial incentive. Residential loans have lower fees than commercial ones.
Right.
So this could significantly impact her credibility, especially given her history of prosecuting fraud cases herself.
A high-profile case to keep an eye on, certainly. And that wraps up today's Daily Vibecasting. Wow. We've zoomed through everything from Bitcoin's bold moves and declining alcohol use to SpaceX's market disruption, political power plays, and serious legal allegations. It's been a whirlwind of insights and breaking news.
It really has. And what's truly remarkable about today's feed is just the sheer velocity and diversity of information. It leaves you with an important question, I think. In a world where news breaks as fast and perspectives clash so readily, how do you discern what truly matters and what's merely noise?
Exactly. Keep those critical thinking hats on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into today's X-Buzz. Until next time, stay informed.